Good morning. Happy Thursday. And here we are for Own Your Genius number 4. And I have some amazing women to be sharing with you today. We have Connie Jones from Peachtree, Georgia. And Connie is breaking free to live in deeper satisfaction and soar to the next level of success with her new book, Warrior Arise. Connie, welcome.
Thanks.
Julia, we have Julia Bernadsky, who is bridging the realms of energy, beauty, spirituality, and healing. She's of untamedhearts.com. You've got to see her beautiful jewelry and the incredible work she is doing, helping women really tap into their energy of who they are. I'm so excited to introduce you to Julia Bernadsky. And third, we have Cheryl Sosnowski. And Cheryl is a vibrational healing coach, bringing people into whole being, high vibe harmony. You know why I fell in love with Cheryl right off the bat, because it's all about high vibe. So welcome, Cheryl. It's so awesome to have you guys here today. And we are going to be digging into how each of these wonderful women are making a difference in the world, what some of their most important work is that they're putting out in this time right now, because we need a whole lot of this loving vibe that's coming out of this community out in our world, because it's making a difference, right? It's the impact that comes out from each one of these beautiful women out into the world, creating a ripple effect of impact. And this is why I love this series. This series is so much fun for me to really spotlight everything that everyone is doing in my community, and really starting to share some of the most important work that they're putting out there right now. So this is the 4th one. If you've missed the first 3, you can go back into the media and the videos and catch the earlier 3. Good morning, Kathy McCarty. It's great to see you here. And so you can go catch those ones that we've done already. And then we've got 2 more next week. We've got one on Tuesday and one on next Friday. So that's what we've got coming at you around this. So make sure you join us. So today, let's just dive right in. And I'm going to start with Connie Jones. Connie, this is your new beautiful book, Warrior Arise. So excited for you to have this out into the world. How did that feel getting that out?
Relieving and exciting. It's like birthing a baby, as they say, and it truly is. It's been a 47-year process, but a 4-year process of writing it. So very excited to have it done.
Right. Yeah. So tell us about you. Tell us about your work. Just give us a glimpse into Connie's world.
Yeah. Well, I love my work. It is so rewarding. I love coaching. I'm a coach. I'm a heart warrior. I'm a freedom fighter. I'm a breakthrough specialist. And so I love working with the high achievers, the entrepreneurs and the executives who are tired of struggling, striving, and surviving in life and business. And they want to align with their essence, and they want to understand what they're really created to do and step into the fullness of who they are, unlock all their potential, and break free from those limiting mindsets and habits and behavior patterns that they've been living in that have allowed them to survive and allowed them a certain level of success in their life and their business and their work, yet it's not allowing them, it's creating a ceiling for them. And so I help them break those barriers so they get the powerful breakthrough that they're looking for in every area, life, work, and business, so they can live bravely, freely, and authentically in who they really are, and create the things that they want to create in their business and their life and their work. So that results in significant income increases and lots more fun and free time to do what they love, and deep levels of satisfaction and joy and inner peace. And there is no greater rewarding work than the work I get to do. Sometimes I have to pinch myself, just like, wow, I really get to do this for a living.
Right. One of the things I've been thinking about a lot is that when we are breaking through to new levels, it's not about the tactical elements of things. It's about this spiritual, energetic journey into our being. And it's deep personal work that takes us into that next level. So no matter whether it's the corporate world going into that next level, there's a mindset component to it. There's all the components of who we are as a person, really breaking through to new levels personally. As entrepreneurs, I know that was certainly one of my biggest things when I was going into that next level. Every single time, it's not about the elements, not about the linear things. It's about this deeper journey, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, we've got to have the structures and the systems in place, and and all of that is so important to have structure and and order instead of chaos. But and to know why we're doing what we're doing, and to have the systems in place. Yet that is not what creates the ceiling for us. What creates the ceiling is spirit, mind, body. If we're not embodying, if we've got stuck places in our body and our energy, if we've got stuck places spiritually, if we've got places that are limiting us in our mindset, that's where the deep work is done. And that's where the big breakthroughs come. And so I love it.
How do you help your clients get into that breakthrough place? I mean, how do you help them, and how do you help them get there?
Yeah, several different ways. I'm naturally gifted. It's just my gift. It's what I was created with. I have sort of a internal mechanism to be able, I have a sixth sense to be able to read and feel and see the places where people are blocked, whether it's energetically, whether it's spiritually, whether it's a mindset. I can hear them as they talk and read between the lines. I can hear things that are unsaid. I can feel things. And I just know how to ask the right questions and know how to help them maneuver through from block into freedom. And then I use, obviously I'm trained and, as a coach and a therapist for 15 years before that. And so it's experience, and we talk through I help them close the gap. First of all, they've got to get quiet and still for long enough to be able to listen to their heart and connect to their heart. And oftentimes all the distractions of the world and the have-tos and the responsibilities and the burdens keep us from doing that. So I do help people come back home into their body, into their heart, where their true essence is, where their truth is. And so then once they can hear what's calling to them, what they're being, what they're so passionate about, then we get clarity about what would that look like if you could really create that and live that every day and make that happen in your business. And then I help them close that gap between the reality that they're living in, existing in, and working in versus the dream that they can see but don't know how to get to. And we go step by step in that.
So if somebody's listening today and you wanted to leave them with a question to really ponder, to go kind of deeper into that inner knowing, what question would you love them to ponder in?
A couple of different ones. One is, what is calling to you? What would breathe life into you if you could just do whatever you wanted to do every day? If you could make anything happen and be able to spend your time, your energy, and your resources being free to be you and doing what you love, what would that look like?
Yeah. I love that.
That's the first step.
Yeah. I think those kind of questions, and just really open up to the possibilities, is so powerful.
Yes.
You and I have worked together off and on over the years a couple of times, and it's always such a joy seeing you go to that next level. And I'm going to just give everybody, Connie runs a very successful therapist practice with multiple therapists in it, and Peachtree, Georgia. And she is, she knows her work. This calling has been there for you. So when you were feeling this great calling, how did you maneuver through that journey?
Yeah, well, oftentimes the calling it's a messy middle, and I actually had a breakdown because I was, what comes before the breakthrough is the breakdown. Mm-hmm. So there's the discouragement and the frustration and the angst And that those times of I'm miserable, I know this is maybe close to what I want to be doing, or I know that, there's just that more. And so you start to feel that it's not a pretty picture. It's not this beautiful thing that calls to you and you just step into it. Right. The world doesn't just open up one day and you wake up and then you're there. It's an angst. It's a struggle. And for me, I was having health problems because I was not living my truth. And so I was having spiritual problems, health problems. I was disconnected. I was miserable. I was having anxiety. And that's when I knew, okay, something's not aligned. Something's not working for me. But I didn't have any idea about how to create a new reality for myself. And so, that's where we need help. And so if, that's the sign. It's our body's given us those alarm systems through health issues or angst, anxiety, discouragement, frustration. Those are the signs. And that's when we know that, all right, that actually is just on the brink. On the other side of the resistance is the breakthrough. Yeah. But sometimes we need help. A lot of times we need help and someone to guide us there, because it's hard to do ourselves.
And what I'm seeing you really step into now is with the evolution of you stepping into bigger spaces is that you hit on this earlier. You're really hitting on this intuitive knowing gift that you have. You're better leveraging this ability to be able to see more into the future for your clients. And that was why you really started to say, there's another level of Connie, that how you can better serve. And I love seeing the expansion that's really coming with all of this. So super excited about that.
Yeah. It's tapping into our superpowers. We have and that knowing, that wanting more is because there is more. And it's because there's something waiting for us to connect with that was, in my opinion, was God-given,
Yeah.
I mean, it's placed in us. Yeah. And it's just unlocking it and tapping into it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so you've got more things coming besides just, so the book is Warrior Arise. You can get it anywhere, any of Amazon or any of the different places. What else is coming down? You're working on a podcast.
I am. I'm going to launch the Warrior Arise podcast, where we share stories from courageous warriors who have the courage to live. They're living bravely, freely, and authentically in their true essence at this point. They've overcome those barriers. That they haven't got it all figured out, because none of us do. But they've stepped into these new, bigger spaces in their life and their work. And so I want them to share their stories and share with people the hope and the inspiration and the empowerment, and how other people have done that, and that there are so many more possibilities. And so that's coming. And then some online courses. I'm excited about. I've got a 12-week online book club and coaching experience that I'm offering right now, and that starts on June 7th. And then the podcast is right behind that, and then several other courses along the way in addition to the book. So a lot of exciting things happening.
So cool, Connie. Well, we'll come back around to you, and you can tell everybody where to find this as we wrap up after we've talked to everyone else. So we'll be back to you, Connie. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Julia, let's go to you. Let's jump over to you. Julia is Untamed Heart. I'm going to just showcase. I'm going to move my camera a little bit so you can see it. I have my beautiful piece from Julia on, and I've got my earrings on. It was really fun. When Julia was out in Colorado for Soul Speaks, she came up to me and she said, "I believe you are meant to have some angel wings." And it put me into tears, because I do have angels looking over me, and very special angels. And so, Julia, you've got this knowing inside of you. And you and I met at eWomen Conference several years ago, and I fell in love with Julia just walking into her booth of jewelry. And she's got so much more coming out right now. So Julia, tell us a little bit about you. Tell us what you do. I'm super thrilled to have you here today. Oops, and you're muted. See if I can unmute you. I can unmute you. There you go.
Thank you. Somehow I couldn't unmute myself, but thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Cami, it's totally mutual. When you stop by at eWomen's Network into Untamed Hearts experience, there was an instant connection. And we've spoken many times afterwards. And then finally, I was like, this is it. I'm joining Cami's community because this is the right thing. It feels right. There's an alignment. And hearing Connie speak today was just such a pleasure because I could basically sign my name under each word you're saying, Connie. It's these type of people that we come across and get together with, where we don't have to filter what we're saying. We're going to be received because we're home. So Untamed Hearts. Now because it's Zoom, tell me if there's any noise.
We hear it, but that's all right. You're in New York City, so that's all right.
Yeah. So Untamed Hearts is the labor of love. It was born in 2016. I did not plan on it. My background is fashion, high-end brands, and then also everything I've designed and digital world and strategies and marketing and everything I've created ever was receiving energetic imprint of the project, making it visual, giving it birth. So I've never, like every single project that I worked on or item or object I created, it was just delivering energetic imprint that becomes this potent item. So whether it's a website or marketing campaign or strategist, it was so unique and individually received from the source. So I realized it only recently. I couldn't understand what makes it different from what I do and from like what's commercially done. And it doesn't matter how commercial of a place that I was working with, I would always be working with like receiving, downloading information.
Yeah. And you feel that in your jewelry. I mean, and I think that was when I walked into your booth all those years ago. It was like I walked into your booth and the sensation of energy around me was so real. And it's like you have to just touch the pieces. It's just one of those things that you just feel that energy that has been infused through you comes through in your products as well.
Yeah. And the thing about it, my soul's essence is a healer.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the energy that comes through. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. And so when I'm working with people one-on-one, what they receive as a result is an alignment. They receive as a result an opening. Very similar to what Connie said, different but similar. Removing or become aware of what's blocking you, what's making you smaller, what's not allowing your soul to be the one who is guiding your life.
And exactly like we were talking with Connie, when we're going to that next level, this is the kind of work that can really break us through to bigger possibilities. We move that stuff out of the way that we don't even know is there.
Yeah. Yeah. So Untamed Hearts is all about objects that are infused with energy. They're gorgeous, but most important part to them is meaningful. And I also work with people as one-on-one sessions, and I'm working on the retreat and on the group sessions. And I am in process of a very special project right now, which is my deck of cards, Messages from the Universe, that was created a few years ago. But now it's time for it to be, it was created for the event where, in a different format. And people loved it so much that this is time came to print it and make it available so that you can take a whole box of 52 messages home.
Very cool. Very cool. right now is, the energy of this week. So let's just talk about this week, because this is a special week. I have been feeling the energy. I have been playing with the moon this week. I've been playing with the eclipse. The vibration of me is big this week, and I can feel it, and it's exciting. So talk to us about what's going on in the universe. This is your lane.
Yeah, thank you. So I love talking about that because I'm the one, like my body is so fine-tuned to all the changes that I feel it immediately. So for me to know what's going on helps me a lot to navigate the space, to know that if yesterday was a lunar eclipse, and so if I felt like something is like this inside, so instead of being like, oh my God, what's happening? I was like, let me ride the wave. So you immediately align yourself with a different frequency of energy if you know what is going on and what is available. Oh my God, so like the energy is so intense, but let me take that intensity into maybe creating something or making some notes that I can go back to, because I will never remember them because they are information delivered, received, and let go of. So you write it down and you go back to something that is so potent. So there's a lot of potency right now in the universe. So we just experienced the lunar eclipse yesterday, right? At 7:11, I think it was happening. And I haven't seen it myself, but I certainly felt it. And also it was a full moon of Gemini, but the moon was in Sagittarius. So having the two signs, Gemini and Sagittarius, like those are amazing people. They're so easy to get up and go. They're so intellectual. The communication is there. The lightness of like getting up and starting something new, and it's like the air and the Gemini, like duality of everything, seeing different sides of everything, and very intellectual. Right? So all of those things, somehow each one of us is going to be feeling a little bit more because we all have a little bit of each sign in us. And being affected by that space just is a reminder that, yes, you're going to have this a little bit more, but you need to remember that not everything is so intellectual. Not everything is so logical. Not everything is a strategy. Sometimes we just need to turn off the logic and open our hearts. So this is a time to just remind yourself as much as possible. Open your heart. Connect to the feeling rather than thinking. So when you write something, just like notice, instead of saying like, I think that we need to do that, try to say, I feel that maybe that's a better way or another option. So come from that softer side, come from the feeling, opening your heart and feeling. This is like the biggest message. And so when the things come, like you start to think about, you go into your head a lot, right? You start to use your intellect, your IQ. Turn off your IQ. And turn on your EQ, your emotional intelligence.
I love that. I love it, Julia. And I think that that's where we get the most powerful insights and wisdom and messages when we can turn off our thinking brain and really feel into it. So that's so beautiful. I want to talk to you a little bit about your journey, because you've built this incredible business around your jewelry. And you had this calling that your business was meant that you could be bringing your gifts into the world in a bigger way. And you've started to touch on this, right? That now you're working one-on-one with people, and now you're working with people in community, in circle. How has that journey been for you? The birthing of that journey, coming from what you already knew was a solid thing. And granted, 2020 was a difficult year because you suddenly didn't have your shows that you were showing at all year long. And you still found your way through that in a way, that flow way through it, giving birth to even bigger ideas for you.
Yes. So it's like Connie said, you're being called to it. So when Untamed Hearts was born, I was not planning for it. I just want to emphasize it. I was working with my clients on creating their brands. My expertise is in creating brands, but it's all like aligned with your unique gifts and talents, with your energy. So I was working with my clients. I had a few clients at the same time I was creating business with, their businesses. In between, Untamed Hearts was born. So now what happened was COVID happened. Like I was on my way to Georgia to a biggest show. It was supposed to be the biggest year ever because I got into the best shows. And I got an email. I stopped in the middle of the road. I turned around and I went back home. It's a lockdown. So from that moment, I could not sell jewelry. Like I couldn't sell. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, people couldn't walk into your booth, right? I mean, and that's a lot of the experience of
so
meeting you in the jewelry.
Yes, in the past, people would come mostly to people who know me would connect with me through digital. We have beautiful online shop. We have everything that needs to be in the digital world. But people would get who we are through this one-on-one, one way or another. So it was happening all day long. It was happening every time. And so now when I turned around and I just couldn't be like, everybody is in the middle of pandemic, and I would tell people like, I have something that I want to sell you. So I couldn't. I don't know. I had maybe it was a block, maybe it was annoying, maybe it was an intuition, but I knew that I need to show up for people in a different way and serve. And what I was called to was to just take people out while they were inside. So we created this community, co-created this community, Conscious Life Collective, and we started to do amazing events. And it was very beginning when people didn't know what to do with themselves. And we ran 3 days events, and it was beautiful because we literally took people out while they were anxious and scared and dealing with fears. We entertained them, but also filled them up with a higher vibration, fill them up with awareness that there's more than just what's in front of you right now. So this was the beginning. I understood that I want to do it more and more because this calling was just this is your way. This is no, look here. No, don't do your traditional marketing. This is not I check with my body a lot. I do energetic check, body check. I ask for guidance all the time. And I'm being called until this day, constantly, that the direction to go for, to give more of me to people, to have that one-on-one or group experiences. And the retreat is going to be magical.
So you've got a retreat coming up.
At the end of closer to the end of the year, but yes, I'm working on it. And just to create this experience for people, to have that potent, I want to use this word because it describes a lot of an energy. So that it's not just on top, feels good and gone, but something that you can really go deep inside with, that you can recall, and then and jewelry actually is an extension of it. I don't know, it's like a circle. I don't know where the beginning, where the end, but these are the pieces that help you to pull forth that energy that you connect to. So sometimes we create an object, a jewelry piece, or an object or a crystal that you take with you and you hold on to, and it will help you to embody again that energy that you connected to, that this is your higher self, this is your higher vibration, this is your calling, this is that whisper that you heard, and you can encapsulate into the object, or you can create that image in your head, that image becomes that picture that brings you back to that place. Sometimes we need a reminder because life happens.
Right.
So these sessions are created in a way that you, again, I love what Connie said, and I don't mean to repeat it, but it's very much that Like when you want to hear something, you need to go in a room where it's totally quiet.
I love
So
it.
it's to go inwards, because what needs to be heard is coming from that deep place inside. And to be able to connect it, to start having awareness. For different people, it's different, depending where you are at. I meet you where you're at. But ultimately, you go inside to receive the message. And you go inside to hear the message from outside as well. You need to be open enough.
Yeah, I love
And
it.
aware enough.
I love that I am wearing "Open Your Heart."
Yeah, that's what I was.
Which is like, this is like so perfect for this week, right? And it's like, to me, this was very much like my fire dancer, right? This is like the fire dancer on my book, yes. But it's the same energy, and it's so fun. I love how these sessions have all worked out. All the right people have been in the right rooms together, because I didn't plan it. You guys kind of, I opened up the calendar, and it just magically came through perfectly the way it was meant to. So thank you so much, Julia. I love your work. I love you. And I'm thrilled you're here with us today. Now we're going to keep this whole theme of energy and flow and beauty coming through here with Cheryl Sosnowski. Cheryl, welcome.
Hi. Oh my gosh. I loved listening to both Julia and Connie, and my heart is so full. And I was thinking that exact same theme, Cami. I was like, wow, how did we all wind up in this? I know we all chose our own times, but it's like, wow, how funny that we all wound up in this room together. That's just amazing.
Totally. Yeah. Tell us about you. Tell us about your beautiful work that you do.
Oh, thank you. Gosh, I am, I use energetic modalities to embody just what Julia was saying, that you use jewelry or a crystal to remember, to re-embody a feeling, an energetic feeling to get you back. I use art and sound healing to do that with people, and also dance. So I'm doing chakra dance, and it's all about dropping out of your head. And as a Gemini who had my birthday the day before the full moon, I can tell you this energy has been crazy.
I've got goosebumps.
I actually woke up yesterday morning and it was so dark out and I could not go back to sleep. And I just had this feeling like, oh, go look at the moon. And when I went outside, the eclipse was happening.
Yeah, so me too.
I sat outside under the moon, under the eclipse for probably a good 15, 20 minutes, because it was a long one. And then I went back in the house, and it really felt to me like an orange peel layer peeling away, and like this dropping of something, this shell. And it was just really powerful. And so that energy, what I do is I take these modalities, and I've been drawn more and more this year to go back to ancient teachings. And so it's so funny that when I set this intention, and the intention was at the beginning of this year to just allow myself to be led by my higher soul self, without a plan, because as a Gemini, I like to plan and have a strategy, and this is the goal, and this is what I'm going to check off my to-do list. And I've been like, okay, I'm going to trust. I'm just going to trust that the path will be lit as I walk it, as long as I'm willing to walk it and show up, that the next footstep will be lit up for me. And I've been guided and guided and guided and guided back to the ancient Essene teachings of the Aramaic Jesus. And so I keep coming upon these ancient books and manuscripts and codes, and what's amazing is how they all tie into the work I've already been doing. And so that's what blows me away. I will read them and I'll be like, oh my gosh, this goes with this and this goes with this. So it's like all these pieces of a puzzle that I'm synthesizing and putting together in a deeply spiritual work. And
what I love about this, Cheryl, is that, so for me earlier this year, I kept hearing, and I've heard about, I've known about Akashic records a lot over the years, but this year it was like, they were like in my face all the time. Every time I turn around, I'd be like, oh, there it is again. There it is again. And so I started to follow. So talking about that ancient wisdom, right? And I think we're all just being called in different ways. Yeah. And so I had this, I kept following the dots, and I started asking around, who's the teacher of teachers of Akashic Records, who are the people. And I went and spoke to a couple of them. One of them I just like totally fell in love with, Jennifer Longmore. And so I've been following and actually working with her one-on-one. And it's like all this energetic breakthrough that comes through when we start to listen, just like you're doing, and just being open to, okay, let it come to me. And trusting when it comes to you. So I love what you've just shared here. And it's ancient wisdom, and there's like just all these different dimensions of ancient wisdom, and it's so cool.
Yeah. And it's like with all my studies that I've done with mindfulness training, and then with my love of dance and my love of sound healing and my love of art. And then to find out that the ancient Essenes and the Magdalens, the therapeutics of those ancient times were sound and art and dance. I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's amazing. And it really, I know just from the transformation it's made in my life, and then seeing the work that I'm doing with my clients and how they fast shift their energy. And so I say that it's really, I've found these tools that I'm sharing with people to help them access and then expand their consciousness in an almost effortless way, if you're willing to just show up. And like, I loved how Connie said that it's like, there's no like all of a sudden you wake up and you're like in this magical happy place. That's not how it works. And it's really about learning to tap into the gifts and the lessons and the growth and the opportunities and the experiences of the day you're in. And it's when you learn to stay in that very present time and work within it, within this invisible field that we're all in, and tap into that energy, that's what it's all about. And it's like, like people be like, oh, I want to find my purpose in life. Your whole purpose of life is to be human. That's it. Your soul drops into this human experience, and your whole purpose here is just to be the best human you can be. And, the Essenes in Aramaic was to be a perfect human, but it didn't mean to be perfect like we think of perfect. It was to be perfect in learning your lessons and not repeating them, and using everything as an opportunity for growth, to get closer to the essence of who we are. The field, the Akash, they believed in the Akash too. They called it the Ruka. So it's the energy around you that's in everything. And so it's really about tapping into that energy, realizing that every breath you take is a breath shared by everything and everyone on this planet, in the universe. You start to really tap into this sense of your own divine nature and the divine nature of everybody and everything around you.
And you think about this crazy past year we've been through, what an important lesson for all of us to really live into is, the oneness of us, and the, it's our work to do. And if we're doing our work, it's like, I can think of times where I wasn't doing my work last year. And so it's those moments of learning, right? And then other times where I was totally doing my work, but it's, it's like this, as humans, we do dance back and forth between doing our work and not doing our work, right? I mean, so there's, what have you learned in this past year around that?
I've learned to trust. I have learned that the more I stay in, the day I'm in, the more joyful I am. And that we are all connected, and that you never know. I'll share actually a really profound lesson with you. I, for months, would meditate and pray, and I kind of had this mindset of like this enlightenment experience, or this awakening that would happen, that all of a sudden I would just wake up and be like literally the butterfly, and I'm flying around, and I forgot I was ever a caterpillar. But it's not like that at all. And so what I realized was, I was having this prayer all the time of like, let me awaken, let me be used in a big way, and one day I said something to a friend, and it was a simple invitation that I had just followed up and invited her to something. And she shared with me that simple invitation completely shifted her whole life. It was like an energetic thing that just hit her, that was like a key to her looking at her life in a totally different way. That was not my intention. And I completely realized, and I had this download of knowing that it was like, oh, that's the whole point, that we show up as our best selves, allowing our highest self to flow through. And how that works and affects other people is none of our business. And that it's always affecting other people at the same time. Like everything is a ripple. Everything makes an impact. Every word is energy. It's an energetic harmonic from your body, making an agreement with the field around you and also making an agreement with your own body, that our bodies are imprinted by the words that we say, with the intentions that we carry. I mean, and even in the field of, I think that's what I love about this so much, because anybody who knows me knows how much I love science and data. And what I love about studying these ancient traditions, these ancient wisdom traditions in the current field of science that we know now, is how they are tied to this quantum realm and all the quantum science that we know. And like, they were practicing this stuff thousands of years ago just by paying attention to nature. And we are so disconnected from nature as humans that we've lost touch with the very essence that we live in. And so it's like they were practicing this stuff in the quantum realm, and now we're in the quantum, studying this and going, oh, this all makes sense. And the biggest one is your intentionality, and how just by holding an intention totally affects the outcome of something, of whether a particle will express as a particle or a wave. Blows my mind just by what you think before you even do it. So they're like, how can we even study it without an intention? That's impossible. So it's really fascinating to know like how powerful we are as creators in our own lives. And it's the greatest gift that we have.
Oh my God. I love this conversation. I just totally love this conversation, because all of this is, this calling that, this women's wisdom is the medicine our earth needs, right? And it's like, you look around the circle of women here going out, sharing their wisdom in each of their unique ways. It's so powerful. Yes. Cheryl, what do you have coming up that is, that you're most excited about?
Oh my gosh. Well, I'm in the middle of writing a book, which I'm now revamping again. I'm adding more to it. Called Dare to Be Divine. And it's, now I've found more things to add into it that I'm like, oh, I have to go back.
It's a journey.
It is, and make some changes and really synthesize the vocal and toning practices that I've learned with each of the exercises, and the power of that, just these simple chants and these simple sounds that we can make that completely change your energetic state in an instant. And what I love is sharing these tools with people that you can do anywhere. You can do it while you're sitting at a red light and make that an intentional 1 minute.
What do the sounds do for us? I mean, because I love sound like fills my soul up, but I don't know what it really does for us to be able to explain it. So explain that for us.
Well, that's a whole science. Yeah. So interestingly enough, though, sound does not happen in your ears. Sounds happen in your brain. And it's tied to your reticular activating system, which, if you know anything about that, is that since we notice what we tell ourselves to notice with our eyes, our reticular activating system kicks in. So if you decide you're going to buy a car, for instance, you start noticing it everywhere. Well, the same is true about sound, which is why you only hear what you want to hear. So it's being filtered in through your brain. But while it's doing that, there's so much mystery about sound, because it's also very vibrational, and that it repatterns your cells. And so there's some theories out there that the work of Dr. Emoto, that you've seen how they talked to the drops of water had an impact on the mandala.
Oh, yeah.
Water with cymatics. That the same is true of our cells. And so every cell has a little mandala print on it, because we are mostly water. And so if you're intentionally toning, you're changing the vibrational frequency and pattern of the cells in your body. And there is so much research out there. I'm talking thousands and thousands of studies about the impacts of sound and health. Sound on stress, sound on your autonomic nervous system, sound on literally everything. Our bodies are wired for sound. And so one of my favorite sounds is the Aramaic word for the all that is, the energy, the light that's around us. And it's the Shem, which I know Julia knows because she studies Kabbalah. And so the root word is SHM. And so the sound is just, if you take a deep breath and I love to inhale. And especially if I'm feeling stressed, I just take a deep breath and go, and just let it blow out through all. And that sound, I feel travel all the way down my energetic chakra system. I feel it go all the way down to my root, and it feels so good. So that's a simple one that I invite people to try.
Thank you for that gift. I love that.
Yeah.
So you've got anything else you want to share about what you've got coming up that you want people to know about?
You can find all kinds of classes on my website, and I've got everything there. So I do online trainings. I'm doing a retreat at the end of the year. So very exciting, all of the things that are coming up, and just this deep inner work I feel is so important for all of us right now. And, if I can add in too real quick, is for a long time, for years, I've studied human design. I don't know if any of you know what that is. And that
I do. I keep hearing about that too.
It's amazing. So it parlayed into Gene Keys, which I'm a Gene Keys guide. But what I found so interesting about that is that they said that the coming shift of humanity, that we are going to actually literally alter our genetics, our DNA, by 2027. And until 2020, I was like, I don't know. I don't see how that's going to happen by 2027. And now I'm like, oh, it's definitely happening by 2027.
Ooh, I like that. That gives me some more goosebumps, because it's like, okay, you can feel that happen. You can feel that shift happening. And that's what we all keep talking about. So I hadn't heard the 2027 piece. I love that.
Yeah. So
that gives us hope.
We have time. And the most important things that people can do is meditate every day. Meditate. It's the number one way to, like both of these other ladies said, drop in, quiet your mind, learn to get in touch with not only your nafsha, which is your soul self, but also your intuition, your intuitive guidance, your energy system. All of that is there for a reason. And the more that we learn to listen and tune in, and then drop the stuff that no longer serves us. And that's right. It's our ego's old defensive
old stories.
Like,
awesome.
Like peeling off that orange peel the other night, I'm like, that's gone. I'm like, now I'm a fresh, juicy orange again. So we'll see what the next layer has to hold. But it's very exciting.
There's an indigenous tribe that does something. They go, boo, like this. I love this. And we saw it on a movie. And my husband and I do this all the time. I'll go, boo, we let it go. Totally. Cheryl, so tell us where people can find, what's your website?
My website and my business is createspacestudio.com.
Okay. And on social media?
Same thing, everywhere. Okay. And if you Google my name, I'm pretty much the only one, so you'll find me.
Okay, awesome. And I'll go back around the circle here, but I'll start with you, Cheryl. What's the one pearl of wisdom you'd like to leave with our audience today?
The one pearl of wisdom I would like to leave with our audience is that you are a divine being who is a powerful creator of your own life.
Thank you. Julia, here, I'll unmute you. So tell us where people can learn more about your work and find, follow you.
So the online is untamedhearts.com, and you can look at my name. It says at untamedhearts.com. So that's the online everything you can find there. Instagram and Facebook is Untamed Hearts Jewelry. My Instagram was hacked, by the way. So
loud noises there.
I'm sorry about that. My Instagram was hacked, so I started a new one. And please do join. Do let me know you're there, because I want to make sure that I reconnect with my people once again. So Untamed Hearts Jewelry, and then you can email me, and I will make sure to be back in touch and text me.
Awesome. And your one pearl of wisdom to leave with us today?
I just want to tell you how unique you are, each one of you. You're very special. You're very unique. And most importantly, you are the one. You are enough. You are the one to create that shows up in your dream or in your vision. And sometimes we say, no, it's too big. Or, no, somebody else is doing it. Who am I? I just want to leave you with this. You are that person only because you received that thought. Just that alone means that you are the one, and you are enough, and you have everything you need. And what's most important is that you believe in it and you trust your intuition and you open your heart.
Oh, there you go. You open your heart.
And be ready to receive.
Thank you, Julia. I really appreciate it. Connie, tell us where people can find you and follow you, and start there.
Yes. So I have a brand new website coming out pretty soon, but it's not quite out yet. So in the meantime, you can find me at arisecounselingandcoaching.com. That's the website. Eventually, it will be ConnieJonesCoach.com also. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks. I have Connie Jones Coaching on Facebook, and also Arise Counseling and Coaching. And then Instagram is Connie Jones Coach. And so that's it.
Awesome. And what's your one pearl of wisdom you'd like to leave with us today?
Yeah, I love just reminding you that you are, it's similar to what Cheryl was saying, you are a powerful divine being, a warrior, and you were not created to struggle, strive, and survive. You were made to thrive in a life of freedom and fullness. And you have everything inside of you that when you tap into it, you have everything inside and outside available to you to be the very best version of you. And you can do anything that your heart calls you to do if you will tune in and listen and tap in to the resources inside. And know that outside of you is everything to support you in being you. Not someone else, but you.
Thank you, Connie. I really appreciate it. Well, ladies, thank you so much. And to everybody tuning in, I hope you are taking away some really great vibes and energy to go take into this week, because these women were so full of such great wisdom. And want to just, if you're being called to really level up your business, raising up your energy is one of those things that's going to help you get there. I mean, if you're in the space of your business, you're ready to go to that next level, this is the kind of work that we're talking about that really changes things. Come join us in the mastermind. If you want to know more about the mastermind, just reach out to me and I'll share more about it. We have such extraordinary women in our community, as you can tell. And until next week, next Tuesday, we will see you then. Thanks, ladies.
Thanks.
Thanks, Cami.